What is up, party people? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking trace rifles. Which one's the best in PvP and why? In this is my opinion. So, if you enjoy one trace rifle more than the other, by all means, go for it. But this is my opinion. This is what I found from using each one for a little bit, and yeah, I'm going to be trying to give a very reasonable explanation for each one. Essentially, what determines what is the best trace rifle comes down to ease of use, damage, and kind of like versatility. Like, how can you use it in XYZ scenario? Can it be used in this kind of scenario? Stuff like that. So, but yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into it, shall we? We're going to be starting off with Prometheus Lens. Let's go. So Lens is an interesting one. Effectively, you have two damages that it does. It does 15 to the head, as well as 6 AoE damage, and then to the body it does 11 and 6 AoE damage. What I mean, when you shoot one shot, you do 15 headshot damage, 6 AoE damage, because that's what Prometheus Lens has. It has AoE. So effectively, you're doing 21 headshot damage per beam shot thing. If you hit to the body, you're doing about 17, 6 plus 11. It is kind of hard to see, so I had to zoom in a lot because the clouds and the white numbers, but you know what I mean. But yeah, 6, 11, so 17. Effectively, you're doing 21 to the head per shot and 17 to the body per body shot. On top of all that, you also have its kind of, perk where you can shoot for a while and make a giant AoE that does a tons of 6s. But you're probably not ever going to actually use that, but it's there in case you have someone hiding behind a wall or something, So where do I put Prometheus Lens? Let's say it is debatably either the best or the second best, depending on what you want from your trace rifle. In terms of just straight up killing power, it's definitely the best. Hands down, 1v1 is probably the best. Minus one other trace rifle, but you need a specific perk for that one to even be recommended. But it's good. I'll say a solid first place for Prometheus Lens. Unless you want something more, then it's second place. But it's definitely good. Next on the list, we have Divinity. Now, Divinity isn't like Prometheus Lens, where it has 2 damage numbers. It has 1, just like all the rest of trace rifles. Now, Divinity is kind of something. It does 9 to the head, 7 to the body. Not much damage at all, right? But that's not why you use Divinity. You use it because it has a bubble. This bubble is what makes Divinity not that bad. When you're bubbling someone and they're behind cover, or they try to run behind cover, you can still shoot the bubble and do damage to them. You could do some crazy stuff with this. If you're shooting them and then they go behind cover, you can swap to your primary, which may be a sidearm or something, shoot the bubble, kill them. Honestly, it's really good, especially if you have a team with you. But I mean, it's hard to rank this one. I'll say it's definitely the best support trace rifle for sure. But in terms of solo power, maybe it'll fall 3rd, maybe even 4th. There's a trace rifle that I believe is worse than Divinity, but that's just because of its inconsistencies, but we'll get to it. But for now, let's just say Divinity might be 3rd or 4th in the pool of trace rifles.
Doo-doo.
Next we have Ruinous Effigy, which is interesting. It does 17 to the head and 13 to the body. Realistically, Ruinous Effigy doesn't have anything that it brings to the table. However, what makes it why you would use Effigy over anything else is because of its perk to make people into a ball. Now, the best way to use this ball, in my opinion, is to use Dawnblade, Icarus Dash to people, bam. Another thing you could do, you can also use Blink. This means that Ruinous Effigy is probably one of those Warlock kind of exotics. Going Invis on Hunter doesn't really work too well because they can still see the shiny ball. Titan doesn't have movement. It really comes down to using Warlock in my opinion. So I think for Warlocks, it's probably like the best trace rifle because of how fun it is. You can do so much with it. But in terms of like overall, it's probably like fifth, unfortunately. As painful as it is for me to say that, it's probably fifth. But yeah, best for Warlocks, fifth probably overall. Alright, so we have Coldheart now. Apologies if I sound different. Apparently my audio for Coldheart specifically got cut out, so I gotta re-record it. Anyway, 17 to the head, 13 to the body. Coldheart excels at its ability to increase damage the longer it is shot. So here it can go up to like about 20 damage to the head. Not bad, right? In my opinion, Coldheart is probably like maybe second best, only to Prometheus Lens. Prometheus Lens does a consistent basically fucking 21. But to the body, it doesn't do as well. So like, Coldheart's one of those trace rifles that I feel like if you are really good with trace rifles or you like using them a lot, you'll probably value Coldheart even more because of just how consistent it is. Like, does so much damage, right? If you're new to trace rifles, it's probably not the one for you. You're probably better off just using Lens, considering it does basically 21 damage for free. You know. Next, we're gonna have some, quick clips just showing how fast it can melt. Like, look at this. Look how fast. Look at that. Easy melt. But yeah, that's basically Coldheart in a nutshell. There's not really much to say here. It's just a solid exotic overall. Well, you can even trade with for Shayura's Wrath. Next, we have Retraced Path, and let me tell you, this weapon is amazing. 17 to the head, 13 to the body. It's about the same as the rest. Now, what makes Retraced Path so good and so unique is that it can have random rolls. The rolls you get will greatly determine how good or bad this weapon is. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm low-key kind of a dumbass and I got to pre-record this, so here we are now. Retraced Path is a legendary, obviously, trace rifle, right? Your roll might affect how you like this weapon. I have Perpetual Motion and Demolitionist. I have Particle Repeater, which just increases the stability of it. You can also have Ionized Battery, which I don't recommend. But if you wanted, you could get some more bullets for the cause reload speed and stability. And you got Chamber Compensator or Polygon Rifling, which I have Rifling. As a result, I have literally practically max stability. Nearly. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because with Perpetual Motion, while you're moving, strafing, doing whatever you're doing, you get more stability, more handling, and you get reload speed, right? The reload speed doesn't really matter. We're not here for that. That doesn't matter. Stability and handling. Stability will make it where it's basically a laser beam. As we're going to see, I'm not sure if I showed the clips before or after this, but as you're going to see, or as you saw, the stability on mine, like, it doesn't move. It's a laser beam. Quite literally. But it's like there's no recoil. You don't have to do anything. You just shoot and it aims directly where you're shooting. Most of the trace rifles have like where you gotta like you gotta control a little bit, not much. Like it's not much controlling of stability or recoil or anything. But this one you literally don't have to do nothing. You just shoot and it's profit. Demolitionist, it's cool, you get your nade back faster, but it's whatever. It's not really a do or die. My recommendation, if you're using Retraced Path, get Perpetual Motion and whatever other perk you want. I highly recommend this perk. If you can get one that has max ability like this, I highly recommend that as well. Your masterwork doesn't matter too much, but if you could get like maybe range, if you could get range on this, that'd probably be better. Then reload speed, well that would be better. But anything better than reload speed, honestly. But yeah. I also recommend a talking adjuster, just because more stickiness, more aim assist, why not? You don't really need an Icarus mod on it. You don't really need a backup mod. Counterbalance you can make an argument for, and then everything else is kind of like, why are you using that mod? But yeah. Oh, you can also use Freehand Grip if you like hip priming. But yeah, that's it for me rambling about this. I thought I should, mention it because I forgot to actually do that. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, back to the video. There's really not much to say. Perpetual motion kind of really carries this weapon. As long as you have ×1, ×2 on it, it is amazing. Like I said in the previous section as well, I have a fairly good roll. I have like max stability or something. Like, legit, I can't say much. Get perpetual motion if you don't already have it. I promise you, it will change your opinion on it if you don't like this weapon. Now, Agers Scepter might be a doozy. It does 17 to the head, 13 to the body, but you're not using this weapon for like its ability to kill on slow, or kill people and then slow them, or anything like that. You're not using it for that. You're using this weapon for its ability to use your super to do more damage. With that perk, you do 31 to the head, 22 to the body. That means about 6 hits no matter what, and you're basically securing a kill. Well, 6 hits to the head, and you're basically securing a kill. Like, it's pretty good, and it drains your super really slowly. So you have like about maybe like close to like 20-30 seconds to run around with it. The issue this weapon has is that you need your super for it. So what does that mean? Because of the super changes, you don't get your super like but maybe once a game, right? It uses 25% of your super to even get the perk active. So what this means is you're going to have to run a class that gets your super pretty frequently. Radiant Well, Tether, for example. If you use something like Dawnblade or Smash or anything like that, you're getting 1 super a game, maybe 2 if you're lucky. I wouldn't recommend at all. Wouldn't recommend. You also need to keep the weapon out at all times in order to benefit from the perk. You also can't swap weapons. You also can't reload. There's a lot of things kind of setting this weapon back a little bit, and you gotta remember, you need your super for you to actually get the benefit, and when you get your super, your opponents have their supers. You can see where this is going. It's a good weapon, but I can't in good faith be like, yeah, it's definitely better than these other trace rifles. I don't know if that's the case. It's good, it's fun to use, but is it better than Prometheus Lens? Is it better than Coldheart? I don't know about that one, Chief, but you know, everyone's different. You might like it. Before I let the rest of this clip play out, let me just also add on that you can use this perk like kind of like a preemptive thing. Like if you know you're about to be pushing something, and you know enemy's going to be there, activate it preemptively, and then you can start sliding out. Every time you get a kill, it does refill your super bar a little bit, not much, but a teeny bit. It kind of gives you extra time, really. But yeah, keep that in mind when you're using this weapon, and yeah, maybe you'll love it. I mean, I really enjoy it, but yeah. So that. Okay, this thing. Now we have Wavesplitter, which, let me be honest, I think is debatably probably the worst one, and that's only because of how inconsistent it is. Now, before you pound on me, let me explain. This weapon is good. I'm not denying that it's not good. It's good. It's a good weapon. It does minimum damage of 17 to the head, maximum damage of 19 to the head. So it's already better than the other trace rifles in that regard. When you get an Orb of Light, it will always do 19 to the head. So realistically, it's better than the other trace rifles outside of Prometheus Lens, right? It will always do a minimum of how much damage the rest of them do, but sometimes it'll do more damage than the rest of them do. So, you know, in that regard, it's better than the rest of them, right? I dislike inconsistency. When a weapon is inconsistent, I don't like it. This weapon is inconsistent. Sure, it always performs better than the rest, but I don't know. I don't like it. Here's my assessment of it, right? My assessment of it is this. In my opinion, fuck Wavesplitter, it's the worst. But keeping my opinion out of it, more like factual, I guess you could say, it's probably second best, maybe third. Like I said, it hits harder than the rest of them, so it ain't like it's bad. It's definitely good, but in my opinion, I would rather just use any of the other ones that's more consistent. That's my opinion on it. Here's some clips of it being kind of inconsistent for me. Hitting 17 on headshot for this guy, Then on this guy, I'm hitting 18 and 19s. Like, it's just inconsistent. That's my opinion. I hope you don't hate me. So, what's the ranking? What's the overall ranking? First off, Lens, I would say is probably the best trace rifle in the game. In terms of just straight up doing the job of killing people, I say it's probably the best. In terms of versatility, probably Ruinous Effigy, because you have the spear for like 3 peeking. You can surprise people with a 1-hit kill with it. It has decent AoE. In my opinion, it's definitely like nothing to be scoffed at. But it's only really good on a Warlock. So, if you're on a Warlock, it's probably like first along with Lens, maybe second. But if you're not on Warlock, then it's probably honestly like 5th. Pains me to say. Next off, we have Divinity, which... Actually, no, we're not going to do Divinity next. Retraced Path next. Retraced Path is probably 3rd. It's extremely consistent, but you do need like a relatively specific role to make it like really good. In my opinion, like Perpetual Motion is like God tier perk on it. You need it. And in the last column, I think you can get Tricorn, Golden Tricorn, or Demolitionist. Those 2 perks are pretty good. I imagine Golden Tricorn will make this weapon even better. So if you get that, then this weapon might even go up higher than fucking 3rd. But I didn't have that role, so I can't tell you. But yeah, Retraced Path probably 3rd. Next we have Scepter. Agers Scepter, or Agers Scepter. Now this one's probably 4th. Strictly because of how hard it is for that perk to actually work for you. And like I mentioned before, it ain't because of like, it's not because it's bad necessarily. It's because you need your super for it. And because of the super changes, getting your supers harder. So you need someone like Tether or Well to really get your super quick. As a result, you gotta wait for your super. Which means that your opponents will have their supers most likely at this time too. And it just becomes a great big like pile of shit. Just, I don't know. I probably wouldn't use it. I mean, it's fun to use, but I don't know if you should use it over other trace rifles if you have the option to. Like if you're choosing like the best one, I don't know if you should use this one. Next off, we have Divinity. Coming in at number 5. Divinity is really good at what it does. That bubble is great. You can do some crazy stuff with it. The issue, however, comes down to it being... It does so little damage to begin off. Like, if you don't get the first shot, you probably die. Most of the time. But as a support weapon, as a team weapon, it's definitely better than all the rest of them, period. Maybe not Ruinous Effigy, because your team can pick up the ult too, but... It's there. And Wavesplitter coming in dead fucking last. Why? It's just inconsistent. I don't like it. It's inconsistent. I don't like inconsistencies. However, if I were to recommend it to people, I'll say it's probably second best. Despite me not liking it. Like you won't catch me using Waves, but I don't like it. But it is definitely not a shit weapon. It's like second. It's like second. Maybe third. But it's not bad. Don't let my opinion be like, you know, the golden rule or anything like that. It's not bad. It's second at least. But yeah. This is my video on trace rifles. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully it was maybe a little informative, if anything. I don't know. I like trace rifles. I like using them in Crucible. It's fun. But I know this isn't really like everyone's cup of tea. But yeah. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give me a like, comment, and subscribe. Actually, I really do appreciate it. And without further ado, I bid you all adieu. Take care and peace. Bye-bye.